Welcome to the Political Insider. Today we're going to talk chickens. South Africa, we're quite partial to chickens, which means that we have to have a lot of chicken farms. So this is the story which has been dominating headlines for a while around the Daybreak Farm, which is in Delmas, in Gauteng, east of Gauteng, right? And this big chicken farm was started in 2001 and was started by AFGRI, the agricultural co-op, run very, very, very successfully. So successfully that in 2015, the Public Investment Corporation, now the Public Investment Corporation is the asset manager that manages pension fund money for government employees, and they're there to invest wisely for pension funds and so on for their beneficiaries. They decided it was a good idea to get into the chicken business. To be fair to the PIC, they were very, very keen and being pushed along to do some prominent BEE deals. So there was a consortium put together called AFPO that was being funded by the PIC to run this chicken farm that was now known as Daybreak Farms. Original investment of 1.2 billion rand. This thing was purchased, and pretty soon it became apparent that the consortium had no idea, talent, or inclination to run a chicken farm. And being the funder, the PIC took over that investment and ran the farm. What could possibly go wrong? Well, here we sit, 10 years later. Daybreak is now in business rescue, and the business rescue practitioner is about to get rid of 2,200 people that work at the Daybreak Farm, keeping only 500. More money lost, state money lost. Who cares? It's not their money, but they've lost nearly 1.5 billion rand because they put some more funding into the thing. And it seems like there's going to be no value left that the business rescue practitioner will find. They'll try and sell off a few bits and bobs that they can. A few of their operations may be picked up at a steal by somebody that knows what they're doing. What is the big story here? Well, the big story, if you ask me, is number one, where are the controls of the PIC that they can invest in people that clearly aren't suited to running a farm? What we have here is the clash of ideology versus the ability of this organization to run a chicken farm. Clearly they couldn't. So the PIC ends up losing all of its money, sinking even more money into it, and people that were gainfully employed now lose their jobs. To me, this is a story as old as time. It's a very, very big sort of school of thought in South Africa that the private sector is the bad guys. Government does it much better. Private sector will always try and have as few people there as possible, and somehow it'll be good for the business if you just overemploy staff. Well, this is what has happened. For the last 10 years, this business has not been run as a business. It's been run as some money-sucking operation, and the money is gone. And those people, instead of the right number of people working in a successful business, 2,200 people are going to lose their livelihoods. When do you suppose in a country like South Africa, our bureaucrats are going to understand that it is not the meanness of companies when they don't overemploy or employ so many people? They're not being mean. They're just being efficient. That is just, the alternative is this, that the business closes down and everybody loses their jobs. There might still be 500 people that work at what's left of Daybreak Farms, but their jobs will also go in the fullness of time unless they get picked up by somebody that buys the odd division or the odd operation here and there. When is the state going to understand that the private sector has to be efficient? You've got no option. You can't sell chickens to people that don't want to buy your chickens. The quality is not good enough. If your supply chain isn't working, If there's big potholes in the road and trucks can't get there, things aren't going to work. These are all considerations that the private sector has to deal with every day that the public sector doesn't. When that person doesn't renew your driver's license in time, it doesn't matter to them. You can't go get your driver's license at the opposition company. You've got to get it from the state. So they can be as bad as they like. You've got no option. We saw that with the collapse of Eskom in the early days, before everybody started to put solar on top of their houses. Oh dear, we don't have enough electricity. We'll just switch it off. Sorry for you. Just wait until we switch it back on. It doesn't work like that in the private sector. Daybreak Farm is a disgrace. Right, we're not even going to get into the humanity of what happened with certain of their chickens not being handled properly. Some of the pictures are disturbing. But government cannot run business. They must get out of it. The PIC have got no business in investing in businesses that will not succeed. Their job is to maximize value for their pension fund holders, not to try and socially engineer the country. Why they would think it's a good idea to finance somebody who's got no experience in the business is anybody's guess. They then put in a bureaucrat to run it. She does nothing. She pays herself a bonus and then she leaves. South Africa needs to stop this. It doesn't work. How much more money do we want to lose before we realize that the business of government is not business? Government must just get out of the way. Make it as easy as possible for real operators to run those businesses, and they'll make a profit. Thank you so much for joining me on the Political Insider. We'll keep an eye on this, but it looks like the end of the Daybreak Farm and the end of 1.5 billion rand. Thank you for joining us on the Political Insider.